I know I'm an attractive person, and I'm deciding whether this is the person who I'm going to spend my attractive time with. That makes sense? It's not the other way around. When we come back to the original topic, though, of being man to woman, right? So in order to make the interaction man to woman, number one, you as the man are going to have to be responsible for that. You're the one who has to make that happen. She's probably not going to in most cases. Not always. Some girls will come up to you and just give you a compliment and open you, but most of the time you're going to have to make it man to woman, right? And the problem is, and this is the huge paradox of game, whenever you make it man to woman, you are being active. You're having an agenda. There's some amount of slight neediness around making it man to woman. The more subtle you can be about it, and the more you can frame it as though it's her idea, frame it as though it's her fault, not your fault, those kind of things, the better off you're going to be. And so that's what I'm trying to do, right? So you will not hear me basically ever at this point just give like overt compliments, at least early on. I'm not ever going to go up to a girl and be like, you're so pretty, you're so hot, I love you, right? You're not gonna hear those kind of things from me, right? You'll hear things more like, I thought I loved you until you said that, or you'd be so pretty if you would just stop doing this, right? Or you know what? There's this one thing about your look that's so cute, but I just can't take you seriously, right? So there's that push-pull nature to it where I'm not giving all my power away, right? Then beyond that, there's sort of like the underlying frame, and this is something we were talking about in the boot camp, right? The underlying frame that I know I'm an attractive person, and I'm deciding whether this is the person who I'm going to spend my attractive time with. That makes sense? It's not the other way around, right? And so if you come up with something, maybe like a generic compliment, hey, I liked your vibe, I want to come talk to you, right? That's about as complimentary as I'll ever be on an open. Probably, I'm usually not even that complimentary on the open, but that's about as complimentary as I'll be, right? I liked your vibe, I thought I'll come talk to you. Okay, cool. Now I'm talking to you. Now you need to earn me continuing to talk to you. So I'm curious about you, who are you, right? And then you might challenge her, you might tease her from there, right? It's kind of like if you were buying a car, and maybe you've done all your research, you come in on the car lot, you actually know what car you want to buy. But you go to the salesperson, you go and be like, listen, I've decided I'm going to buy this car, I don't care what you charge me for it, just any price, this is the car I want, just give it to me, right? It's probably not a good idea, right? Instead, you come on, you're like, hey, so listen, I was doing some research on a few different cars. I like this one, I'm leaning slightly towards this one, but I'm concerned about this and this. Can you tell me, does this car have this feature? Because I'm kind of on the fence. You know what I mean? You act a little bit like you're not sold, right? And you make, he's the salesman. It's his job. You make him sell you instead of you selling yourself to him. Same kind of thing with a girl. You walked up as this attractive guy. You're giving her the opportunity to sell herself to you. You're giving her the opportunity to win you over. Imagine this like top secret government agency is like recruiting, right? Have you seen like Men in Black, like old movie, right? They're recruiting the Will Smith character because he's like this top cop or whatever. And so they recruit him like, oh, there's a special program, you're in for it or whatever. But then they bring him there, and then he has to go through this gauntlet of tests to be in the program. Even though they went out of his way and recruited him and selected him and he was special, he still has to go through the gauntlet of tests, right? That's kind of the metaphor I want you to have with all this. Look, you picked out of all the girls tonight, she was the one that was special enough to qualify to come in for your testing. But she still doesn't just get the job. She still has to prove herself because you don't know her yet, right? That's the vibe I want you to have in general. And that vibe is very man to woman, right? That vibe is very much, there's this job on offer. If in a job interview, right? If I were to ask you, what kind of a worker are you, right? There's clearly a right. The right answer is not, I'm a lazy worker who doesn't show up on time, I'm incompetent and don't have the necessary skills, and by the way, I'm very distracting to my coworkers, right? That's clearly not the right answer. So the situation, the question already kind of implies there's a variety of right answers, but you already kind of know what the right answers are, right? And the fact, in terms of qualifying, the fact that she knows certain answers are right and then intentionally gives a right answer is a form of qualifying. If it was pure guessing, right? Like if the question is random, like what's your favorite color? A girl can't like jump through a hoop and qualify on that because she has no idea what you're looking for. And so she's just like, I'll just throw a dart. Even if I want to qualify you and have the right answer, I can't try. The closest a girl could do to qualifying to that would be like, oh man, I don't know, I'm so nervous. I want to have the right answer. I don't know, do you like pink? Like that would be heavily qualifying in that case. But it just doesn't make sense, right? If there's not some sort of indication of what you want, that part of qualification is missing. You can still fake qualify on it, right? She says pink, be like, oh my God, that's such a good choice, right? So many girls these days try to be so masculine, like I want black, I want blue. I like a girl that can choose pink and be like a real woman, right? You could fake qualify on it. You can come up with a reason to qualify after, but it's better if during the answering the question, she actually is trying in some way. So that is actually a good part of qualifying. So it's okay to tip your hand a little bit, right? You don't want to make the question so easy that she doesn't have to struggle a little bit, but you should tip your hand. She should know kind of what you're looking for. Because part of qualifying is finding out if you like the girl. Part of qualifying is her jumping through the hoop. Part of qualifying, and this is the part people miss, is actually girlfriend training, right? You're from the first moment of interaction with a girl, telling the girl what kind of girlfriend you want. How do you want her to behave? How do you want her to act? And if you don't give her any indication, she's unlikely to just randomly end up being the perfect girlfriend for you. But if you do give her some criteria of what you're looking for, girls can be very flexible in what they do in relationships, right? One girl in one relationship can cook and clean and take care of the house, and in another relationship, order in and not do any of that stuff, right? Girls are capable of both depending on what type of guy they're with, right? And even the same girl, some girl who's very like career-minded and driven and loves her job, with a guy who has like much more income than her, much more lifestyle where it doesn't make sense for her to work, may by all means become a stay-at-home mom in that context, right? Or something like that, right? So girls are very, very flexible, but they need to know, what direction you want them to go in. So that's actually part of qualifying as well, and it's completely fine. It's completely fine to give them a hint.